All right, great. Well, welcome. This is going to be your 2020 Pharmacy Internet Marketing Plan webinar. Glad you guys are here. Really looking forward to getting into this stuff with you and sharing some great stuff. So we're going to go ahead and get started and kick this off. So what we'll be covering is a few things, but we're going to set up goals for 2020. How many leads you need to hit your targets. We're going to do a deep dive into that and really uncover and unpack the things that you need to be focused on going into 2020 to really take your pharmacy marketing to the next level. We're going to look at the three fundamentals of pharmacy success. So that's the three areas that really are crucial to getting your internet marketing correct so that you can really go to the next level in 2020. And then how to optimize your website for conversion in 2020 and beyond. So we're going to unpack the steps to make sure that when you get someone to your website that you have them there, land them on your website, and then convert them into someone that's going to call or come into your pharmacy. Take the actions that you want them to take, and become a customer ultimately, or switch their prescription over. So that's what we want. Next, we're going to look at the big picture of all the online marketing channels that you should be tapping into to ignite your growth online. So most people think, just having a website is enough, or just having a Facebook page is enough, and that's not the case anymore. There's so many different avenues and different roads that all lead back to your website that you really need to be taking advantage of. So we're going to tap into those and unpack those as well, so you can have a clear bird's eye picture of what you need to focus on going forward with that. We're going to look at the latest trends for 2020 and what's becoming the necessities as opposed to items that you might just be exploring or just dabbling with. We're going to look at some stuff that you really need to be taking advantage of to start winning online in 2020. And we're going to develop a custom action plan based on where you are now and what you need to do to go forward. So really a lot of stuff to unpack here. So we're going to dive right in and get started. First thing, need your attention. Turn off your cell phones, turn off Facebook, be here for the next hour or so. If you're an independent pharmacy owner and you're serious about getting better results in 2020, the next 60 to 90 minutes will change your life. So really want to make sure, you're taking advantage of this time and, really getting the most out of this time. So if you stay to the end, I've got a few things for you as well. So I want to make sure, you get your hands on these. One of them is going to be our pharmacy checklist. That's really going to help you map out a lot of what we're going to cover here today, and help you make sure that you're taking the proper steps to get your marketing to the next level. The other one is kind of our bird's eye view marketing matrix. It's our digital dominance graphic, and that really highlights the bullet points, gives you that bird's eye view of what you could be focusing on, maybe areas that you're lacking, in your online marketing, and what you need to focus on in 2020. Some things maybe you want to implement, and get your team on board with those. It can really lay that out really nice for you and help you get a clear picture on that. Okay. So I'm actually going to put this in presentation view here. It was giving me some problems earlier, but we're going to try this real quick. Okay, there we go. So that should have made it full screen for you guys. So I got a couple screens here, so I just want to make sure this is working properly before I dive in. So give me 1 second here. Okay. All right, perfect. Okay, so who am I and why should you listen to me? So I'm the author of the Complete Guide to Internet Marketing for Pharmacies, How to Ignite Your Pharmacy Growth Online. I'm the CEO and founder of Pharmacy Ignite, and that's an internet marketing agency dedicated to independent pharmacies. I've been doing this for over a decade, so I have a lot of real world experience. We currently work with independent pharmacies all across the US. So we know what's working right now. We're not just basing it on theory. This is real world um, tactics and strategies that we're deploying every day for our current clients that are all over the country. So widely accepted as one of the premier experts in internet marketing for the pharmacy space. With that experience, I like to share my experience and really help people, who are lacking in certain areas with their marketing, take it to the next level. Um, what I'd like to start with first is, asking you guys, what's the hardest part about marketing your pharmacy online? So take a little bit of time, think about this. It could be, getting more customers. It could be getting more customers through the website, getting more reach on social media. It could be maximizing if you're already doing some marketing. It could be how to maximize, your ad spend, how to make sure you're not wasting those dollars. So I'm just going to give you about 30 seconds here, to put some thought to that and kind of get clear on, really what you're having a hard time with marketing your pharmacy online. Okay, perfect, perfect. So looks like we've had some time to think about that. And if you want to share some of those in the comments, turning ads into actual online sales is one that just popped into the chat. Absolutely. Yeah, we see that a lot. We get a lot of conversations with pharmacies all over the country that struggle with, knowing, okay, I'm spending this much on my ads or this much on my digital marketing, but how to correlate that into actual sales or actual prescriptions or actual new customers for your pharmacy. So that's a perfect one uh, that we can unpack here on this webinar and help you get clear on. So I'm glad someone shared that. So thank you. So really, the first thing to think about is setting clear goals. Okay, so just having goals is one thing, but having clear goals is a completely different thing. And so, really having goals for 2020 is really what's going to steer your ship in the right way. If you're familiar with Brian Tracy, really well known self motivation expert, someone who's been around for a long time. He has a great quote that's success is goals, all else is commentary. And I truly believe in that because having a goal materialize in front of you, writing it down, making it real on paper, it does something to the mind. It takes you to the next level as far as the commitment it requires to achieve that goal. Okay, so I like to use this graphic right here, but not having goals is just kind of, it equates to being a sailboat, out in the ocean with no wind, no motor. You're just kind of drifting about, no real sense of direction. You can't really control what's happening or which direction you're going, and you're just kind of hoping for the best and hoping you go in the right direction ultimately. So, clear goals equal wind in your sails. That's the lifeblood of your entire strategy is knowing where you want to go, reverse engineering it, and then figuring out, okay, to get to that goal, here's what we need to do, here's what we need to accomplish, here are the monthly steps, daily steps, really piecing it down into bite-sized chunks. You can't eat the elephant, all in one sitting. It takes bite after bite after bite. That's an old saying that a lot of people use. So it's true with your goals as well. So there was recently a Harvard, or not recently, but there was a Harvard study done um, back in 1979. And what they did is they interviewed a bunch of grads and they asked everybody, do you have goals? Well, 84% of them had no specific goals. 13% of them had goals, but they hadn't written them down. And only 3% had clear written goals and plans to accomplish them. They had actually sat down, mapped it out, and had that plan laid out so that they knew exactly how to get those goals accomplished. Right. So the results after 2 years, they came back, took a look at everybody from that graduating class. The 13% of the class who had goals were earning on average twice as much as the 84% who had no goals at all. All right, so that's pretty alarming stats right there. Even more staggering, The 3% who had clear written goals were earning on average 10 times as much as the other 97% put together. That's 10 times as much for that 3% who just took the time to sit down, write the goals, and map out the plan to accomplish them, which is what we're going to work on here today. So being in that 3% is everything. That can change your entire business for next year. So the goal setting framework that we're going to look at, you need to have written goals and plans, right? This is very clear with looking at that case study or that survey that they just did. You need to set at a minimum a 1 year goal, a quarterly goal, a monthly goal. Okay, breaking that down into chunks really makes the brain have an easier time to understand. Okay, here's what we need to do this month, this quarter, this year to achieve that 5 year goal. So working backwards on those daily tasks, weekly, monthly, on up, really helps the brain process that and materialize it in a way that it can understand. Otherwise, it just seems so daunting that you're not going to be able to fathom how to achieve that goal. All right. So you must have a stopping point at the beginning of each new year and the end of each quarter to reflect on how you did. So how did you do based on what you set for your goals? What are you going to do moving forward? Why did you miss the mark? So looking back at that and reflecting on that will help you get clear on what it takes going forward to actually accomplish that goal if you didn't reach it in the first place. So that leads me to ask you, what are your goals for 2020? What is your revenue target? How much is that monthly? How many customers or prescriptions will that require? What is your average transaction value? Knowing these numbers, let me go back real quick. I apologize. Knowing these numbers will help you get clear on that goal. So, starting with that revenue target. Let's say you want to do 2.5 million in your pharmacy next year, or 3 million, whatever the number may be. Let's say you're already doing that and you want to take it to 5 million. Knowing that is great. That's a good starting point. So then breaking that down monthly. How much do you need to do monthly to reach that goal? Simple math, divided by 12. All right, and then if take that, and if you know how much on average a customer spends with you, or a lifetime value of a customer, you can divide that into that number as well, so that you now know, okay, here's what I need to do to accomplish this goal if I want to do $5 million next year in my pharmacy, or $10 million. Okay, so knowing that average transaction value will help you see the big picture and say, okay, now we know how many customers we have to go get, or how many prescriptions we want to add. Okay, now once we've established that, now how are we going to do it? And that's what's next. So I want to ask you, what's your goal for 2020? Take about 30 seconds, write this down. You can do that quick math if you want, or you could do it after. That's up to you, but have that goal in mind for what you're going to want to do in 2020 for revenue for your pharmacy, and how many customers will you need to monthly to get there, and how many on top of what you already have. So we already know you have a customer base, but how many more do you need to add to that to get to that goal? Okay, so take about 30 seconds, and if you want to pop that in the chat and share it with us, that would be fantastic. Okay, it says, hey Shane, I'm seeing a blank static screenshot with your working document side by side. Makes it difficult to read your slides. Oh, okay, so maybe it's showing the wrong screen here. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Let me exit this. I was having problems with this. That's what I was worried about. I was having problems with PowerPoint earlier. I might have to just stick to this version. Do you see PowerPoint now where it says goals and then the slides coming down this side? Yeah, okay. All right, let's just stick with this version then. Actually, let me try one thing real quick. I think I might know what actually caused that. I apologize, guys. Just bear with me here. We're going to get this situated out. I think it has something to do with swapping my slides here. How about that? Did that change it? Worse. Okay. Well, that's not good. Okay. All right. That's all right. We'll just go back to this version here. Okay. So now you see what we had just a second ago? That's good. Okay, perfect. All right. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. So I apologize for that. I was having issues with PowerPoint all morning, and so we'll go with it this way. So we learned to adapt. All right. So yeah, we talked about your goals, and really getting clear on that, how many customers or prescriptions it will take monthly to get there. So we've really, unpacked that. So now let's talk about the fundamentals. Okay. So these are the three fundamentals of marketing and success in marketing. Okay. So what, who, how. All right. Message, market, media. Okay. So updating your marketing message. All right. Who is your ideal customer? Now, what that means is really diving in and knowing, you know, who is your ideal customer avatar? What are their pains and frustrations? What are their goals and desires, fears and implications, dreams and aspirations? Not a lot of owners take the time to do this, to really get clear and understand, you know, who their ideal customer really is. They might think, oh, it's women between the ages of 35 and 45, and leave it at that. Okay. But to really understand your customer, knowing their pains and frustrations makes your message that much more impactful, because you're hitting on pain points that will relate to them and really pull them into your message, because you're going to solve the pain that they have. Okay. So taking a few minutes to actually map out your ideal customer avatar, with the demographics. Are they a homeowner? This is just an example of one I put together, but if they're a homeowner, 35 years old or older, typically female, occasionally male, married, 2 to 3 kids, head of the household. Maybe they have a certain annual household income that they like, or that they need. Family oriented, reliable, lives within 3 to 5 miles of the pharmacy, takes an interest in their community. All that stuff. Even though it doesn't sound like something like them taking an interest in their community would be important to you, it actually is, because they're going to invest their money in their community. And if you're the pharmacist in the community, if you're that local independent pharmacy, then they're going to want to invest their money and stay local with you, as opposed to going to the CVS, the Walgreens, the big box stores. Really keeping that money in their community is important to them. So pains and frustrations, really tapping into that with your message. What don't they like about their current pharmacy? Do they not like having to go to CVS's and Walgreens and just be another number? Do they want to have a local pharmacist that they know? Do they not want to drive all over town? Again, it goes back to how close the pharmacy is to their neighborhood, to their home. Wants a pharmacy that knows their name. It's more personal, like I said, not another number in the system with someone that doesn't really care to talk to them, and just not a fan of the big box pharmacies that we like to call them. Just doesn't want to be in business with someone like that, as opposed to having someone local that they know, they trust, they feel comfortable asking questions about, and getting answers from. So that's important to think about that. Fears and implications, being ripped off or overcharged. Are they feeling like the current pharmacy they're with is overcharging them, paying too much for something they could have gotten elsewhere, having to wait too long for their prescriptions? That's a giant one. I'm sure you guys hear that all the time, with with your customers or people that you guys get in. Hey, I came to you guys because I got tired of waiting over at CVS for too long. Their fears also could include, will this be more than I can afford, with the insurance side of things, stuff like that. Tapping into that, crafting your message around that is going to go a long ways, because you're going to really speak to them on a different level. And then next, their goals and desires. Having a reliable pharmacy, somewhere that they know will give them the treatment, give them the service that they're looking for. Peace of mind, having a well kept home, taking care of their family, more income, money, wealth. So I can run through all these, but you get the point. Those are their goals and desires. So really, again, catering that message to speak to them on these different levels will just have a night and day difference in your message and your marketing, because now you're not trying to be everything to everyone. You're actually speaking to someone. You've carved out exactly who you're talking to. So it's going to go a lot farther as opposed to you just having a generic, hey, this is who we are, where we are. Come see us for your prescriptions. Okay. So this is a great quote right here. If you can see Joe Jones through Joe Jones' eyes, then you can sell what Joe Jones buys. Okay. So if you can see your customers through their own eyes, you can sell them what they want to buy, right? So that's getting inside, getting that message clear, getting inside the mindset of what it takes to speak their language, to speak them to them on that level. Okay. So craft your message. What is your message? What is the message of your pharmacy? Why should someone choose to do business with you versus the competition? You know, three things. What are the three things? So take 30 seconds here, write down three things as to why someone should choose to do business with you guys versus the CVS, the Walgreens, the Rite Aids, the Walmart pharmacies. And feel free to share this in the chat. And bear with me as well. I'm getting over a cold, and I lost my voice earlier this week. So if I clear my throat a lot, I apologize. But so I'm trying to stay hydrated. The next three, but what benefits do you offer that your target customer avatar will resonate with? So take another 30 seconds, write down three things. If you know some of those benefits that you can offer that target customer will resonate with, crafting your message around that is going to be crucial because again, you're going to speak their language. You're really going to draw on stuff that they're actually interested in. We can all think about the times. Think about how many commercials or how many ads you see a day that don't catch your attention. And that's hard to actually think about because they're not catching your attention. But think about the ones that do grab your attention. It's most likely because the message of the ad resonated with you. There was something that, let's say you're an avid golfer and Tiger Woods pops on to talk about a Buick, that would catch your attention as opposed to just any random guy or any other celebrity. Might not have the same effect because you're not as into that sport as you are into golf. And when you see Tiger, it resonates. So, things like that are stuff you need to think about. Okay. So messaging that works. This is some stuff that I can share with you, but names, not numbers. A lot of the pharmacies that we see around the country are using the messaging centered around names, not numbers. So getting away from the CVS's, the Walgreens, where you're just another number in their system, and come over to our pharmacy, XYZ pharmacy, where we'll remember your name. We'll get to know you on a personal level as opposed to, just another number in our system. Straightforward pricing or satisfaction guaranteed. A lot of people, really, really care about the fact that they want to know, okay, that they want to know that you care. They want to know that you're not just going to sell them something and okay, on to the next, move on. So satisfaction guarantee, trustworthy pharmacy or trusted pharmacy or experience, really tapping into those, it goes a long way as well, because when it comes to stuff like medication and the world that, you guys deal with every day, you're the expert. So people are coming to you wanting to know, okay, are you experienced? Can I trust you? How much experience do you have? How long have you been doing this? So including some of those things in your messaging, it'll always work. You're always safe doing stuff like that. So you can make the case for fast prescription refills, money saving offers, great service guaranteed. Some of the best pharmacies that I've seen, some of our clients, some of the ones that we work with, they have raving fans because of the service that they provide to their customers. People that will never leave them because they ultimately, one of them, he even tells me, he says, I want to be the Chick-fil-A of pharmacies. I want that experience to be so good that they don't even consider going anywhere else. So having that service that speaks, that reputation that precedes you, that'll get you more customers than you'll even know what to do with. But then once you have that in place, then taking that message and using it in your online marketing will just 10x that and just amplify everything, tenfold. So take a minute, think about what's your message. You've probably already started putting some ideas together based on what we're talking about here, but, putting together, that message as far as what are you going to use, going forward as your marketing message in 2020 and making sure that's included, making sure your team knows, okay, hey, this is our message. This is what makes us different. This is what's going to resonate with our ideal customer, and making sure that your customers know, okay, that this is what they're about. So now that we have that, now we can look at media. Okay. So media comes down to essentially what we're going to talk about for the most part here, but that's your website, that's your social media, that's, your email marketing, that's anything media wise, even outside of the online space. If you run TV ads, if you run billboards, if you run print, maybe you have local magazines, newspapers, stuff like that. That's the media, that's the how are you going to get this message in front of your target market. Okay. So that leads us right into what we call your hub, which is your website, making sure your hub converts. All right. So your website is the hub, and this is a great graphic that I like to include, but it just shows you, everything that goes back to your website and how interchangeable and how everything is a 360. We like to look at it as 360-degree approach, because you're constantly sending people back to your website. I have a lot of people tell me, well, not as many as it used to be, but I used to have quite a few people tell me, I don't want a website, I'll just use my social media. Big mistake. Have a website, because for various reasons. But number one, you control the website. You don't control Facebook, or you don't control some of these other platforms. So if Facebook decides to change something and your entire online presence is dependent on that, you're going to have to adapt, or maybe even have your online presence die. You don't know, but none of us know what's going to come down the pipeline. But a website is something that you own, something you control. You can control the entire message on it. You can control everything. It's fully customizable, as opposed to, continuing with the Facebook example, you can't control every little thing on there. You can't have, this picture moved over here, or change the layout, or anything like that. You just have to put what they want in the certain spot where they want it. Okay. So you're at their mercy. While and you pay for that, convenience, because they have a platform with billions of people on it, versus a website that, you're going to have to grow yourself. So there's some trade-offs, but your website's the hub, right? You're always going to have, have that asset in your reservoir, so that you can send people back to that. So as you can see on this graphic, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, everything, SEO, all that, ads, everything runs back to your website. Okay. So is your website set up to convert visitors to callers, or even visitors to people to come in, right? That's something you need to look at with your website. Pull your website up and think, okay, number one, how does this look? If I didn't know this business or this pharmacy, would I pick up the phone and transfer my prescription, or would I, call them to see about something else that I'm in need of, or maybe some immunizations, or you name it, right? And does it make it easy to call? Is this one you can see that I have this example here? Up in the top right corner, we have the phone numbers. So we make it easy, and those are click to call. So when you're on mobile, it actually pulls it right into the middle of the screen when you're on mobile, which is what 65% of everybody is now. It pulls it right in the middle of the screen, tap it, it clicks to call. We just make it easy. And then right there front and center, in the graphic, it's switched to the pharmacy today. So that's ultimately, those are the two goals. We want phone calls, and we want people to switch their prescription. And the easier we can make that, the better conversion rates we're going to get. So take a look at your website and see, is your website set up for conversion? Does it speak to your target avatar? Does it address their fears and frustrations, and speak to why they should choose you over CVS or over Walgreens? Does it have authentic images of your pharmacy on the homepage, just like you saw on the one I just showed you? Does it have pictures of your team throughout the pharmacy, or throughout the website, I mean, so that people can see you guys and get a sense of who you are? Does it include some videos? Videos become a go-to these days, because, people are just more inclined to watch videos than they are to read text. So, having a website welcome video, we've done that before. Videos for each of your services, so people can get an idea of, all the stuff you offer. If you do delivery, having a great video made of your delivery service. If you have a drive-through, if you have, MedSync is a great one that we've done. Having, consultation videos, really breaking down, having the pharmacist sit down on video and explain what, someone is going to get when they do, do a medicine consultation with your pharmacist to make sure you're taking all the right stuff. So you kind of get the idea there. A video explaining why someone should contact you versus the other guys. So does your website showcase your online reviews more prominently on the homepage? We're big on this. You could see on that last screen, we actually put a pop-up in right down here that shows people, it pulls the reviews over straight from Google. So we want people to see, hey, this pharmacy has stellar reviews, hundreds of them on Google and Yelp and all over the place. We want people to see that when they end up on the website. Um, excuse me. Does it make it easy for them to take action and get in contact with your pharmacy? We already touched on this. Having that phone number up there, so it's easy, so it's click to call. Just get the basics in order. Phone number in the top right hand corner. Ensure that there's a web form that customers can fill out on the contact us page, and add credibility to your website. Are you listed on the Better Business Bureau? Have you paid for that? Because that's got a yearly cost to it. Angie's List. Have your Yelp on there. Etc. Are there calls to action on each page to speak to your customer and tell them exactly what to do next? We see a lot of people miss the boat on this one. Having a page with the information is great, but if someone's going to go through all that information, give them a call to action. Have a button at the bottom that says, schedule your free consultation or transfer your prescription. Whatever that appropriate call to action is for that page, have that there so that they need to know what to do next. People like to be told. They don't want to think about it. They don't want to have to decide for themselves, is this the proper step that I should take? You need to tell them, hey, you just read my content. You just read about our services. Click here to schedule an appointment, or click here to transfer your prescription to us and experience our great service. Are you giving them the option to engage in chat? This is a big thing over the past couple of years that's really taken hold, is do they have the ability to chat with someone? And a lot of people think, well, I don't have the time to sit there on the computer all day and wait for someone to ask to chat with me. You don't have to do that. There's these new chat services that basically will ping you. You just leave it open on a computer and it'll ping you or send you a text message, hey, someone's trying to chat, and you can talk to them right away. So there's different ways that you can do this. And that ties into leveraging marketing automation. You can even do chat bots now that can be built out to where they just respond for you, so that you don't have to, like I said, be there the whole time waiting to see if someone wants to chat. So take a look at your website, see if it's set up for conversion, see if it's something, if it's a pharmacy you would do business with if you weren't already associated with it. Okay. So, the biggest marketing issues facing some pharmacies is unconverted website visitors. You would be shocked if you took a look at your analytics to see how many people are probably visiting your website that are not becoming customers, where you're missing the boat on that. So really getting this dialed in is going to be essential for you in 2020, because it really doesn't make sense to spend a bunch of advertising dollars on Facebook ads or SEO or email marketing to send them back to a website that isn't properly optimized and ready to convert. Okay. You got to start there. That's your hub. Get that dialed in. Then you've opened up the doors for what we're going to dive into next, which is a lot of the channels and the different ways to get people to your website to start, getting them into your pharmacy to become customers. So, here's the problem. 50 to 60% of inbound leave unconverted, and 90% of web forms fail to convert, right? So those are pretty alarming numbers. So 9 out of 10 web forms fail to convert. So you put a web form in front of somebody, 9 out of 10 times, if it's not optimized properly, you'll lose that person and not get a chance. You got them to your website. You did the hard part. So why not make it as easy as possible for them to contact you or get the answers they need? Most of the time when they're on their website, they're in search of something. So make it as easy as possible and you'll win that customer every time. All right, here's the why to that. Customers that are not followed up with and within 15 minutes go cold. I know that sounds fast, but it's a fast-paced world, and everybody expects online to be instantaneous. That's kind of the whole pitch of the internet, is get answers now, get instantaneous, Google this, Google that, get the instant answers, and solve your problems. Well, if they're going to your website and they're sending in a form on your contact us page and nobody's answering that for 24 to 48 hours, there's a good chance that they've moved on. The average customer must be followed up with 5 to 7 times before transferring. So, they you'll always have those ones that transfer instantaneous, but the average customer is going to require multiple touch points before they decide to transfer. And today's consumers prefer to interact via text message versus phone call or email. It's just the way it is. Imagine how many conversations you're having on text, and when's the last time you made a phone call as opposed to text? Most people resort to that text. So utilizing that in your pharmacy is going to be crucial, going forward. So here's the solution. Leverage marketing automation to follow up with web forms in the first 2 minutes. There's ways and software that can be shared, that I can share with you, that will help you automate that and really help you at least not lose them because you didn't respond quick enough. So, it can be responded within 2 minutes via it can automatically ring them and ring you at the same time. It can shoot an email to them, it can shoot a text message to them as soon as they fill out the form. Automate the follow-up so that every person or prospect or potential customer is touched 5+ times and able to engage in two-way text messaging. So, that's really gonna help you guys convert those visitors to customers. Makes every lead / website visitor you get generate more valuable, because you're getting people to your website now, but they're not converting. So you don't necessarily even have to think about it in terms of, oh, I've got to get more people to my website. No, you just got to get the same people to your website, but actually get them to convert, and you've effectively increased your revenue and added more customers to your pharmacy. All right. So let's look at how we can implement this in your business. Action items. What are the 3 conversion elements that we just covered that you want to implement on your website? So take some time here, write those down. It could be simple as just adding a few more videos, maybe changing the layout. Maybe it needs a redesign. Adding pictures of your team, your pharmacy, the actual building itself. So what conversion elements are you going to implement on your website for 2020? All right. So hopefully you've had a chance to write those down. If anyone wants to share, feel free. We'll definitely chat about those. Next, takeaways. What'd you learn? What did you notice? What would you like to share? Like I said, if anybody wants to share anything in the chat, feel free. But put some thought to what you just, your takeaways. What did you just pick up on? What are a few things that need improvement with your website, with your message? With maybe developing your avatar, or maybe even going all the way back to where we started with your goals. Maybe you never actually sat down and got clear on those goals. And maybe that's what's needed. Maybe that's step 1 going forward. So take some time, put some thought to that, and really have that dialed in going into 2020. So far we've set a clear goal and target for 2020, like we just talked about. We've got clarity around your market, your message, and your media. And we've made sure that our website is optimized for conversion. We really touched on those points and did a deep dive. So now let's build your plan for 2020. Let's take a look at that and dive into it. So earlier I mentioned that, it's a 360-degree approach. There's a lot of avenues that really go into marketing online these days. It's not enough to just have a website or just have a Facebook page. There's a lot more to it if you want to win customers online. So this is a matrix, or we call it the digital dominance matrix, but it really showcases and makes it visual as to how many different portals can send customers to your pharmacy. Okay. So you got things like website, SEO, reputation, social media, email marketing, pay-per-click, retargeting, proximity marketing. So we're going to dive into some of these here now, and take a look at the key trends for 2020 and where we see things, where I see things heading in 2020, and where you really need to have some focus. Okay. So the 3 things we're going to cover for 2020 is you got to have an all-in perspective when it comes to your online marketing. Like I was just saying, it's not enough to just do a website and call it a day, or just do SEO and call it a day. While those are great, SEO is great, pay-per-click's great. Each one is great by itself, but together it really 10x's your efforts and gets you that ROI that you're looking for. All right. Content creation is a core component. All right. There's a difference these days in being, a creator of content and a consumer of content. Okay. 99% of the population goes online to consume content. The 1% goes online to create content. So if you can have your pharmacy being one of the ones in your space, in your market, being a creator, it's going to take you to the next level because people are going to look at your content, they're going to look at your hub, your website as a resource, and they're going to go there for value. And they're not just going to go just to see, oh, what are your store hours, or whatever it may be. They're actually going to go for the value that you provide them. Okay. And then we're going to talk about some proximity and retargeting, because in 2020, that's really going to drive conversions. Everybody's mobile, so it's very hard to get people's attention. So we're going to dive into some retargeting and, really explain what that is. I get a lot of people that really don't understand retargeting or even know what it is to begin with. So we're going to take a look at that. And then proximity marketing, geofencing. This was kind of a buzzword here in the past couple of years, but for pharmacies and for this space, we're utilizing it all the time, and it's crucial because it's an effective way to pull people from those big pharmacies, from the CVSs and the Walgreens, over to your pharmacy by getting your message in front of them. Okay. So we're going to take a look at this. And again, I'm going to hammer this home, but it's not enough to just rely on one source, right? You can't just put up a website, set it and forget it. Okay. You've got to be doing SEO. Okay. Why have a great website? Why have a high converting website if no one knows it exists? So starting that plan of saying, okay, how are we going to effectively get people to our website? And you looking at graphics such as this will help you understand, okay, hey, we need to be doing some SEO. We need to be doing some keyword research to find out what people in our area are searching and what's going to get them to our website, because everybody's using Google these days. The phone book's gone. We all know that. Everybody's got the phone in their pocket, so we're all using Google. And so that is the new phone book. So having that SEO dialed in, is going to take you to the next level. Your reputation, we're going to touch on that in just a little bit, but you get my point here. I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but it's not enough to just rely on one source anymore. So having a plan, having these different channels crafted out is going to be essential in 2020 for you to really win customers online and ignite your growth. Okay. So here's what you can do for SEO. Search for pharmacy plus your city. Okay. So I just did an example here of, I'm in South Carolina. So pharmacy, Clemson, South Carolina. Everybody's, if you're a football fan, you're familiar with Clemson. One of the best teams in the country. But this is what comes up, and I'll show you someone we actually work with, is Hubbard Young Pharmacy. But most people, when they search online, they do something like this. They'll type in pharmacy plus Clemson or pharmacy plus Clemson SC. If you have a town that has, let's say it's like a Springfield, where there's 10 across the country, you're going to want to put the state. Otherwise, you're going to get results from maybe a different state or something like that. So make sure you include the state in that search. But see how well you show up. Are you in that map pack, which is what I'm showing you here, or do you not even show up? Are you, do you have to click to go to more places, that link down there to even see where your listing shows up? Maybe you don't even have a listing for your pharmacy. And this is called Google My Business. This is something you can set up for free right away, just to start getting people over to your website. But getting into that map pack is crucial. Underneath this, the 10 results on the first page is what's called the organic section. See if you're listed in there. And if you're not, then, now it's time to look at, okay, hey, is this something we need to look at for 2020 as far as having an SEO strategy? Do we need to hire someone to help us? Or are we already showing up here? If you are, that's great. Maybe you're in an extremely small area and you already have this covered. So do this type of search, pharmacy plus your city, flip it around, do your city plus pharmacy, make it plural. There's a lot of different variations, drugstore plus your city. So, there's a lot of different variations here that you can search for, but just see how you're showing up when it comes to these searches, because that's what people in your area are searching. They're typing in pharmacy near me. That's a big one as well. So take a look at that, audit that, kind of get an idea of, okay, hey, we're not really showing up, or maybe we're showing up really well here. Next thing to look at is actually Googling your name to look at your reviews. I tell people all the time, there's two sides to Google or to being found online when it comes to people searching. Okay. And half the battle is being found, like we just looked at. Are you showing up in the top three? Because people aren't searching past the first page. All right. Unless they're looking for something specific. So half the battle is being found. The other half is once you're found, making sure that you're the one that they know they need to do business with. And what I mean by that is having such a stellar reputation with, 15 to 20, 30 Google reviews, all up in that 4.8, 4.9 realm, so that when they click on this, they say, okay, this really looks like a great pharmacy. People are speaking highly of it. It really reassures them that this is the right choice to make. Because again, if you're showing up but you have poor reviews, then you're going to lose people. If you're not showing up at all, then you're just going to lose people. So there's two sides to the coin. Okay, so take a minute, check your reviews by searching your business name, look at your profile. Make sure you've claimed your business profile. It's called Google My Business. Make sure you've claimed it. Make sure you control it, because you're going to want to respond to these reviews as well. You're not going to just want to let them sit there. So if someone leaves you a 5-star review, you're going to want to make sure you say thank you. And Google looks at that. They look at the activity on your listing. Okay. Another portal that everyone's familiar with, but it takes some planning, is your social media. Okay. There's a lot of apps, there's a lot of software out there that will help you plan out your social media. A strategy we like to employ is planning out a month ahead of time. So when we sit down, we look at, okay, what would be the focus for January? Since we're in the middle of December right now, towards the end of this month, we would start looking at January. What would be the focus for January? What kind of customers, what kind of business do we want to pull in? What kind of message do we want to put out there? Are we still talking about flu shots? Are we doing events? Planning that out really takes the burden off of you, because you have a set plan and you actually can schedule it so that it goes out and automates it in a way. You don't want to automate it 100% because it's not set it and forget it, but you could automate it 75% of the way. That way you have content going out that your audience is going to see, and it's going to do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. And then you can just come behind and respond to comments or thank people for sharing stuff on your page. Or every now and then drop in something that's not scheduled. So really sitting down, plan that out with your team ahead of time. Put somebody in charge of making sure that this gets done each month, or bring in an outside team. But really having that plan in place to make sure that you get that plan ironed out. You don't want it. A lot of people struggle. They'll go through the month and say, oh shoot, I haven't posted anything this week, or oh man, it's already Friday and we haven't posted it. I can't tell you how many Facebook pages I see that haven't had activity since October or September or August, or some even years ago. And they wonder why they're not making any headway. It's because they haven't been consistent. People like consistent. Think about some of the people that you follow online, and that you're going to see posts from them almost daily, if not every other day, right? You come to know that. So if you can do that with your pharmacy as well, you're going to stay top of mind, and they're going to be thinking about you every time they log in, and you're going to effectively win more business. Okay. The next portal, start email marketing right now, today. Okay. This is essentially, I can almost say it's almost free for a lot of people, because your pharmacy management system most likely has something built into it. And if it doesn't, you could go find something like MailChimp, where you can upload up to 2,000 contacts and start emailing them today. Just send out a monthly newsletter. All right. Just send out some updates on what's happening in your pharmacy. Update them on, let's say you guys won an award. Let's say you got something new in, you're doing the CBD thing. You name it. You can always find something to email them about. And I'll actually give you some stuff you can email them here in just a minute. But start doing this today. If you're not living in your customer inbox and potential customers' inboxes by getting them to sign up for your email newsletter on your website, then you're missing the boat. Okay, so that's a portal or an avenue to start today. Start utilizing Facebook and Instagram ads. This is a completely different channel, but it sends people back to your website. We talked about this earlier. There's billions of people on these platforms. You need to be getting your message in front of them. Facebook changed the algorithm a few years. Well, it's been quite a few years now, but back before they changed it, you used to be able to have, let's say, a round number, 1,000 people, 1,000 followers on your page, right? So if you would post something on your status or post an update, anywhere from 80 to 90% of your followers would see that, and you wouldn't have to pay for it because you've gained those followers. Well, Facebook got smart, unfortunately for all of us, but they're in business to make money. They got smart and they realized, okay, we can limit the reach that everybody gets and make them want to start paying us for ads. And that's exactly what they did. So now your average Facebook post only reaches 10 to 15% of your audience. So if you have those 1,000 followers, you're lucky if 100 to 150 are seeing your posts. What they want you to do is now start spending money on ads, which essentially you're just going to have to bite the bullet and do it if you want to get in front of more people. So start utilizing this. You can spend as little as $1 a day. Like that's the minimum. So you can spend $30 a month, run one ad campaign, and it could just be a general, hey, here's who we are, what we do, where we're located, general Facebook ad. It doesn't have to be anything specific, or you can make it specific. Excuse me. They, that you can run flu shot ads, or you can run, you name it. You can really come up with just about anything. So start utilizing that right away and get your message in front of people, as fast as you can, right? So the second trend in 2020 is that we're going to talk about is creating content to answer your customers' questions. Okay, so this ties back into what we just covered with the fact of making your website a hub, making it a resource for people to come to you and actually get answers to what they're searching for. Okay, so like we said, people are on Google for various reasons, but they're looking for answers to stuff. That's the whole point of Google, is to serve up the answers. So turn your website into that resource for them to get the answers. So how do you do this? Add a blog to your website. Step one. Okay, a lot of people have a misconception about blogs. They think it's a blog is someone writing about their daily ins and outs and what they're doing, and it's not that. Blogging for business is answering the questions that your customers or potential customers would have. Okay, so create that blog on your website and create a content calendar similar to the social media calendar that we just talked about, but map the content out. Okay, talk about, right now we're in flu season. Okay, so talk about the importance of getting a flu shot. Talk about the importance of vaccines. We all know that there's a lot of people out there right now that they're advocating, don't vaccinate your children. Talk about that. So there's different websites that you can go to find what is being Googled around the web and what the most popular topics are. And I can share some of those with you. If you just send me an email after the webinar, I can pull some of those links. But you can find out, okay, this is what people in my space are looking for. This is what they want answers to. And Google, things like top questions people have for pharmacists. And then all you got to do is start writing. Or find someone on your team, or outsource it. Find someone in the area, find someone local who maybe wants to make some extra money. But have someone start writing this content, or you can do it yourself and post that content to your blog. Because now by doing that, you've turned your website into a resource with information that people need and want. It gives them a reason to go to your website. If you can start to develop some consistency, they will start to expect it, and they'll start to look for it, and they'll start to go to your website expecting it. And that's just easy traffic. And you'll also increase the rankings for the keywords on your website. If you're writing content on your website and consistently adding content about flu shots, about vaccinations, about all these different topics, your website is going to start showing up for those search terms over time. And now you're going to get new people to your site when they Google, how important is it for me to get this vaccination, or how important is it for me to get my flu shot, or whatever the topic is that you choose. Okay, so next, now you want to syndicate the content that you created. All right, so this is how you're going to maximize the content. We just talked a little bit ago about how you need to be tapping into all these portals, and social media was one of them. So you need to post the blog to social media. That gives you something else to post every month or every week. If you can knock out one of these a week, 2 a month, 1 a month, whatever the frequency is, this gives you more stuff to post about on social media, which keeps you at the top of people's news feeds. You now have a reason to email your customers. Like I said, I was going to show you something that at least now you have a reason to email them every single month. Hey, we just finished this blog. Hey, we just wrote this article. Check this out. This is some good information. We're getting this question a lot. get in their inbox, stay in their inbox, create a Facebook ad like we just talked about with the new content, drive people back to your website, people that aren't aware, you know, about, you know, who you guys are and what you do. Convert the content into audio for a podcast. This is becoming more and more popular. You know, is getting into that podcast space. So, you know, you can actually convert, there's software out there that lets you convert it, and you can turn it into a podcast and then upload it to iTunes and have your people listen to it there. Share that content with partners or other businesses that you work with around town. Ask them to link back to your website. That's SEO 101. Getting backlinks from other people's websites is going to move your website up in the rankings. And then you're going to want to retarget the people who read the content. So you've done all this work in writing the content, syndicating it, and we're about to talk about what retargeting is. But essentially, you're going to make ads that follow these people around because they clicked on your content to read it because they went to your website. So I'm going to show you that just here now. So retargeting, okay? So on this graphic, you can see, you know, in my opinion, the third trend for 2020 that, you know, is really going to help pharmacies win online is retargeting and proximity, okay? So starting with retargeting, user goes to your site, all right? How they got there is irrelevant. But what happens is they leave the site and then the ads follow them around, okay? So that's how it works in a nutshell. Amazon does this, and that's the example I always like to use, because you ever put something in your shopping cart on Amazon, well, that ad is going to follow you around, right? It's going to be there. All of a sudden, that pair of shoes that you put in your shopping cart, well, there it is on the side of Facebook. That's retargeting, okay? So they're keeping that in front of you because they know the more you see it, the more touch points you have, the more likely, the higher the conversion chances that you will end up buying that, right? You know, because they know people get busy. They know the phone rings, you know, the kids are screaming, you know, you name it, something pulls you away from what you were doing. They're going to do everything they can to bring you back. Well, this used to be just available to Amazon and these big boys years ago, but over the past few years, it's now attainable for local small businesses such as yours, to take advantage of, right? So installing that Facebook pixel on your website, getting that all set up is a breeze. Facebook will actually walk you through that. If you don't know anything about it, you can have your website developer do it for you. They should know pretty easily. But now, by retargeting, you're staying in front of people. You know, the whole strategy becomes create the content, use ads, use social media, use email, send people to your website. The retargeting thing logs a cookie on their browser and now follows them around saying, hey, don't forget about this. Hey, don't forget to switch your prescription to us. You'd be amazed at how high the conversion rates go when people start seeing stuff over and over again, because those touch points that we talked about earlier increase every single time, which exponentially increases the conversion rate, right? It's not rocket science. The more times people see something, the more inclined they are to buy it, unless you're overdoing it and you can turn them off. But you know, finding that healthy balance is crucial. All right. The next thing to look at is proximity marketing, or geo-conquesting, as we like to call it. And I always like to use the example of how we do this for our clients. But there's various ways you can do this. So what essentially is happening is when someone goes to a certain location, so if we're doing this to a CVS, a Walgreens, whatever, when someone goes in that location, the technical side of things, what's happening is their phone, there's a unique identifier number that's being logged on their phone. And they're now being shown ads based on where they're located, okay? So by being in that building, they're gonna see ads such as the ones on the screen that show them ads for the other pharmacy in town that's running them, all right? So they click on it, it goes to the website, and now they're getting retargeted like we just talked about, and the ads are following them around. This ties into the touch points and everything like that. So the power of this lies in the fact that you're being able to target people based on where they go. Okay, so if you're actually trying to pull people away from CVS, from Walgreens over to your pharmacy, having your message, you know, say, hey, this is, you know, XYZ pharmacy, save time and money on prescriptions, maybe offer them some kind of incentive like you see here on the screen. You know, that's going to be crucial, because now you know that you're targeting someone who's already using a pharmacy, who's actually using a pharmacy near you. So that could be your ideal customer, and now you're getting your ad in front of them, incentivizing that ad for them to click on it, getting them over to your website, and showing them that you're different, showing them your message, your optimized website, like we talked about earlier, you're going to have a better chance at winning that customer, right? So that's how we're going to increase the number of eyeballs on your website, on your hub that we talked about at the beginning of this. Okay. All right. So we've unpacked a lot, and so now it's time to build your custom plan. Okay. So I've got a resource for you guys. If you head over to pharmacyignite.com/cheat sheet, if you haven't got that already, you can actually download our cheat sheet. It's how to market your pharmacy cheat sheet. And it really gives you that bird's eye view overall of, what you already have in place, what you don't have in place, the areas you might need to work on, and really, helps you unpack that so that you understand, okay, this is what we need to implement. This is what we need to execute on. And we're going to start to see some better results from our online marketing. Okay. So just head over to pharmacyignite.com/cheat sheet and you can pick that up there. So again, action items. What are your top 3 internet marketing initiatives that you need to implement to hit your 2020 goal? Okay. Do you need to get an updated website? Do you need to work on the conversion, stuff that we touched on? Do you need to implement SEO, Facebook ads, email marketing? Maybe you need to do it all. Maybe you don't have any strategy in place right now. Maybe you need to refine your message. So, we unpacked a lot of stuff in this webinar, but sitting down, getting clear, and don't feel like you have to do it all. Don't feel overwhelmed, like you have to get everything done by January 1st, or 2020 is going to be a lost cause. That's not the case. Pick the most important 3, start there, and then, like we said in the beginning, eat the elephant one bite at a time, right? Just slow, steady, methodical, consistent action will get you a lot farther than trying to rush and hammer everything out all at once. So, but take some time, map those 3 out, and then you'll have that plan in place moving forward. Okay. So what are your takeaways? What did you learn? Have that, what did you notice? What would you like to share, if anything? Do you have any questions? Is there anything that you would like a little bit more clarification on that I could go into a little bit further? But, really knowing what your takeaways are and understanding, okay, this is how we're going to get clear on our plan for 2020. Will really separate you. It'll put you into that 3% of that Harvard study that we looked at, writing it down, mapping it out, and then saying, okay, step 1, what do we need to do? How do we execute? All right. And just to recap what we've covered, we set goals for 2020. We said how many customers / prescriptions do we need to hit to target? We took a look at the 3 fundamentals of marketing success. We took a look at how to optimize your website for conversion in 2020 and beyond. We took a look at the big picture of all the online marketing channels you should be tapping into so you can ignite your growth online. The latest trends, we just covered those, and really developed a custom action plan based on where you are now and what you need to do going forward. Okay. So last thing I want to leave you with is, if you'd like some help with this, obviously, I wanted to provide as much value as possible and really lay out what you guys needed to do. But we do this day in and day out, and I'd be more than happy to sit down with you and do what we call a pharmacy acceleration session, where we do a one-on-one call, and basically you share some information about where you guys are at. We do our part to take a look at your overall situation online and do a situational analysis, and then we craft out that custom plan just for you. So if you're interested in that, let's take some time. Let's talk. Schedule your pharmacy acceleration session on our website. You can call us at 866-237-4576, or go to pharmacyignite.com/schedule and get on my calendar. And that's actually going to be me and you jumping on a Zoom call just like this, taking a look at all of your stuff and developing that custom plan for 2020, so you guys can really take your pharmacy to the next level. I promised you guys rewards. So for those of you stuck around, you can get the ultimate marketing checklist like I just shared with you, and the custom 2020 marketing blueprint for your pharmacy prepared by us if you just go to pharmacyignite.com/cheat sheet. But make sure you schedule that acceleration session so we can do the custom blueprint, okay? Because we need to have a quick discussion so we understand, where your pain points are, what you're looking for, where you're struggling with, and where you need help, so that we can develop that plan so you can then take that plan and implement it, or have us implement it for you if you really want to speed up your results. Okay, so pharmacyignite.com/cheat sheet and get that marketing checklist for you and schedule your pharmacy acceleration session. So if anybody has any questions, I'll stay on for here for just a minute, and if you want, pop them into the chat, and we can cover those. If not, I appreciate you guys' time, and I look forward to hopefully doing a pharmacy acceleration session with you. And I really appreciate you guys taking the time to be here. So I'm not seeing any questions coming in at the moment, so I guess we'll go ahead and wrap it up and go from there. So I appreciate it, and feel free to reach out, pharmacyignite.com/schedule, and we'll look forward to talking with you then. Thanks, guys.